Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Party Invite Show. I'm your host Tegan, joined by the once again lovely Vilos.
Not today, really, but we could
Well,
say that.
it's the confidence that sells it. And Obsydianyte.
Hi, that's me.
Three of us are your party leaders today. Here at Party Invite, we like to discuss games and the experiences of the people who play them. In that regard, let's kick it off with our Blissin' Up segment, where we talk about something in our lives, gaming or non-gaming, not even just the three of us, but as well as our community, things that made us smile this week, to kind of put that good energy out into the internet. Plenty of places to be upset about things, but you know what? It's a little harder and more rewarding to look out for those things, to seek out those things that make you happy, or put those out in the world, So I got one for you. I went to a place up here in Washington, a port town. It's just called Port Townsend. There's a bunch of them, and it's not like anybody can dox me. I already went there. I'm already back, baby. But we played. What am I saying? We stayed in this spooky haunted hotel that I can't remember the name of. That was actually kind of more sad than spooky, actually, because a couple months ago, I guess there's this bar and restaurant and something else that is inside the building. It's inside the hotel, but they all collectively decided to shut down for good like 2 months ago. So that's a real bummer, because not only can we not get those things that they would have served us if we paid money, we can't even walk into those parts of the building for free. You can do like a self-guided tour, but you can't even go in these like cool places that are listed on the tour. So that was kind of a bummer, but the building was cool. I definitely had different expectations of what that would look like. I thought we'd, do dumb shit and, go out after hours, like, because we're staying at the hotel, and kind of creep around and Scooby-Doo it and stuff. And the two people I was with were not interested in that at all. They immediately wanted to go to bed, but ironically, they both had trouble sleeping because they were pretty spooked. But I was like, what? We didn't even do any of the spooky stuff. But that's okay. It was a fun thing to do. It's a cool, sleepy town that you could have told me was somewhere in like Maine, like in a Stephen King novel. Just real sleepy town, big couple lighthouses. Yeah, it was just a really cool trip. I haven't gone over there, and actually up until like a couple days before the trip, I had a completely different idea of where it was located. So that was kind of funny, just being like, oh, we're going where? But that was cool. Then we went to this Fort Warden, that is this old battlement on top of, it's like the last defense, I guess, to the Puget Sound. It was active from like 1902 to 1953 or something. But it's where these massive cannons, not artillery, but these massive cannons and spotlights and all this stuff were parked way up on this hill, and they had a regiment there, or whatever the proper term is, to operate it. But it was really cool, and to be honest, that was way more spooky than the hotel we stayed at. I got some cool pictures I am gonna get around to sharing here soon. But man, it was really dope. My expectations of our trip were like totally backwards. I didn't care that much about the fort. Was very interested in like the quote unquote castle. I think it's something castle. It's not really a castle, but it ended up being the opposite. The thing I wasn't expecting was very cool. And it's I had one of those moments where I'm like, kid me would have walked around here and been like, oh, neat. But adult me is like, this is so cool. This is the very coolest thing. I'm going to read every sign and get all the history and all the pictures and all that stuff. So it was a pleasant surprise. It was a good time. And that was the reason I couldn't play even more Steam Next Fest demos last week. I would have loved to have just played 10 of the demos that we talked about, and then I saw others mention. But, I can't be too mad to have spent
You
my
were
time.
literally living Oxenfree, like
That's,
that exact thing.
yeah, that's, you're not wrong. So yeah, it was, that was good stuff. So super cool. I'm excited to do more stuff like that. We're full fall mode, so we're doing a bunch of fall activities this weekend as well, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, how about you guys? And chat, feel free to chime in. I can read some stuff out here. we're not the only people doing fun things or reading fun things on the internet,
We can't be the only people in the world who are happy.
Well, no. Let's see. Sid, I know that you have, I see it written here. I know you have at least one thing that you want to talk about. Listen up. Let's hear about it.
Yes. So, this last weekend was a lot of fun. Some unexpected events occurred, and it was just a blast because like the whole mystery unfurled and everything. I did not expect to be going to prom, um, to make up for the prom I never had, but I did, and it was local. It was at the ship, and I think I did touch on this last week about how I was going to go, and it turned out to be a lot of fun. I ran into one of my friends I hadn't seen in like 10 years, back when I lived in like Lawrence. And she and all of our mutual friend group was like up there partying and stuff. And we just happened to win prom court.
As you do.
So that was fun. I didn't realize like the event had said, "Oh, we're gonna do prom court, blah blah blah," but I thought it was just gonna be like a fun scripted. Like they already had the prom king and queen, and we could like take pictures. Like I thought it was gonna be like a part of the photo opportunity or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the host lady, who I guess was a comedian for the night, she was like, "Okay, well, go cast your votes for the prom court." And so, of course, me, I went up to the front of the stage, and she started like calling people up from the audience. And she was like, "Who do you think like has the courage or spirit or whatever? Like, you think you can win?" And I was just like, "Zoop," right up to where she could see me. She called me up, and then like the whole crowd were just like, "Oh my god, look who that bad bitch! Oh my god!" Because like the outfit, let me tell you what, it was a zombie prom, and I was slaying. Okay, like
Hell yeah.
even though I heard throughout the night that I was giving vampire, but that's okay because I still won prom queen, and they didn't. So
Wipe your tears with your $100 bills.
$100 bills exactly.
Yeah.
But I will be posting in the chat my outfit of the night because I'm super duper proud of it, and it was like the first time I did like zombie makeup, and so there was like a bunch of like bruising and stuff that I did, and it was so much fun. But I'll be posting that in the chat.
That's cool.
And then the very next day, after I went to this like spooky, I almost said spooky dookie,
The creepy deepies, the spooky dookies.
the heebie-jeebie, zombie prom, which actually the musicians were really, really cool. There was this like indie artist named Kat King there who had some like Kate Nash sort of vibes. Like listening to her music, I felt like I was in a Scott Pilgrim movie. So it was really cool. I followed her on Spotify, and I guess she knows the friends that I saw while I was there. So that was cool too. And the friend who invited me also happened to be like a DJ who was a musician. He was closing out the night. But after the spooky dookie zombie
Spooky
prom,
dookie.
I went to a bounce house fairgrounds. Like it was like this fairgrounds that was like filled with gigantic bounce house, just arena. I don't know what to call them, like bounce houses, I guess. And of course, it was like a big, kids thing. So there were kids all around and whatever kids. Ugh. But it was so much fun, and I didn't realize how old I actually was until I got into those bounce houses because I was in there for 5 minutes, and I was like, "Whew, I need to start working out again."
Yeah.
I
Isn't it
was out of
funny?
breath.
You can feel like you're like, I feel like I'm pretty fit, just like moving a lot. Like I'm on my feet a lot. I get my steps in. But then I'll do like one specific activity and just be like, oh, okay, I hope they're not recording this. Like, I hope nobody's, got me on camera here because I'm huffing and puffing. But you gotta fake it till you make it, though.
It's just like the SpongeBob meme where he's just like,
Yes. Oh man.
but it was so much fun. They had like giant slides. They had like quote unquote rock climbing. It was like, arena bounce house climbing, but it was a rock climbing wall made of bounce house, I guess.
It was made.
I love that
of
that's the
bounce
material. The entirety of it is bounce house. It's like, oh, that particle right there, that's a particle of bounce house.
It's made of bounce house. It's a scientific material, y'all. And they had like ball pits in there, and they had an obstacle course, and they had like a giant dance floor. All of this is made of bounce house, by the way.
All made of bounce house.
And it was fun because they were like, doing dance challenges and stuff. They did the cha-cha slide. They did like the Gangnam style. And then keep in mind, there were children here. This was a children event for children.
And did they play Wet and Gushy, which is
No,
what I heard at
but
a wedding?
Oh,
Actual
God.
parody Wet and Gushy.
I hate that.
Yeah, me too. Most of us did.
But
The wedding
no,
was great, but the song was just like, oh boy. I don't
was
think they
basically
got this
like that.
cleared.
It was like what is it called? Oh my God.
Not a Rick roll.
No, it was a song that was very inappropriate for children. Superman, like Soldier Boy's Superman. I don't know what it's called.
What is that song called?
Where you
Crank
super
that
soaked
Soldier
that
Boy,
hoe.
you know.
Yeah, that's it. I think actually.
Is
Yeah,
that it?
yeah, maybe. I think that might be it.
I'm a big Soldier Boy fan. You can tell
Listen,
just
they're
by
gonna
looking at me, you know.
they're gonna revoke my black card. It's fine. Anyway, children out here, and then lyrics talk about super soaking hoes, and I'm like, this is inappropriate.
You
There are
know,
kids around here,
I hear
and
Get Low, Get Low comes on by Little John. And I hear that and I'm like, man, to be a chaperone at one of the high school dances as this was playing, I would just be like, I'm not
Listen,
looking.
they literally hear worse every single minute of the day on TikTok. Literally every single minute. It's wild.
I mean, it sounds like somebody needs some parental controls up in there. Then, like,
Yeah.
But that's good stuff. So Queen of the Bounce House is what you're telling me.
oh yeah, I want Bounce Queen as well. I'll let you
Say
determine
no
what that
more.
means.
Yeah, say no more. Well, hell yeah. Vilos, let's get our mind out of the gutter and talk to someone who's very tame at all times.
Yep, definitely always. That's me. Yeah, I didn't have anything crazy, but I did buy some things that are technically limited. So I'm going to talk about two of the games during the thing today. Whatever we're doing today, I don't know what it is. But I got both Getsu Fuma, Undying Moon. This is a physical copy that is like very, very much not really in print. It's going to be out very soon. Baten Kaitos, the 1 and 2 remastered collection, which is straight from Bandai Namco in Japan. It doesn't have any art for the rating or anything, which is super rare for Switch games these days. So I thought that was really
Yeah,
neat.
is that
And
like a
then
collector's edition?
it's the only physical edition that they're making, and it is a limited number, but Bandai hasn't said how many.
Okay, well,
Um,
the reason I ask is because like my collector's edition of Octopath Traveler also doesn't have a rating on the cover, but that's because the rating was on the box that the edition came in,
Hmm.
rather than the
yeah,
actual Switch game case. So
this one was technically special. It came with like a digital art book or something like that on the inside, but it's got some just really really cool art on the inside. Come on, there we go. Just really great character art, and I'm obviously going to talk about this game a whole lot in a second. But
It's beautiful.
you'll know a little bit more as to why I'm hyped about that very shortly. And last but not least, so I also have Klonoa, the fantasy
ah,
reverie. So except this also came with a very sad face. So I have the case. Whoever packed it stole my damn game. And so thanks Amazon. They literally, you could see, I went ahead and took the plastic off after I officially got the replacement shipped, which has been delivered today, and I have to go pick it up. But you
Dude,
could
but
see where they
boo
literally they
that
slit
thief.
right here. They just made a slit right here, and all you have to do is stretch it open just like a teensy bit with that slit, and the plastic will allow you to straight up steal a Switch collection.
That's whack, man.
wow.
I hope that
Yeah.
person's like driver's license now says thief on it.
Right?
Awakening.
Like I was so pissed at the start of the week because that but I did get on a phone call with Amazon. That's the way to do it. Just FYI, guys, if you're ever buying
Wait,
Switch games,
Amazon actually has a support line?
they have a phone line for support if you get
my
to the right spot.
And it's not
And
automated? There's actual human
yeah,
people?
it's an actual human.
I just assume everything went the way of Facebook, where they're just like, can't complain if there's no documentation.
Yeah, no, they definitely try to make it like that, but if you insist, you can find the number for sure, and as long as it's an Amazon Prime ship, like it was fully fulfilled by Amazon, they will deal with it and because the lady's like, so you want a replacement? And I was like, I want a replacement if I don't have to pay for it. Like, because they send you an email and all this stuff about sending back what you got.
Mhm.
It's like, no, because if I send back what I got, which was no game, you're going to charge me for not giving you the game back.
Right.
It literally says it in all their terms and conditions. And she's like, okay, let me see what I can do for you. And then like a few minutes later, she came back and she's like, okay, I got the replacement sent out to you. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Because
Hey.
He
there's
was
no
like,
way
"Dang
I'm
it,
paying for it
couldn't
twice.
nickel and dime you." God damn it.
Yeah. It was a whole thing, but it's worked out as long as I go get it, and it's actually in the freaking second one. But yeah, these are 3 games that I've been wanting for a really long time. Baten Kaitos just came out, but it's stupid pricey.
Is that right?
I got this one for 60, I think, on Amazon, and I didn't realize that uh, the Prime inventory was actually directly from Bandai Namco, which is the thing to do if you ever have the chance, because it didn't release at the same time. Like 6 weeks ago, I think it was, that it officially released. It was not on Amazon. The entire thing was, it was supposed to be like basically PlayAsia exclusive, and the Bandai Namco store exclusive. But they actually gave some. They gave some to their Amazon stock, and yeah, it's going to be one of those that goes up to like $100 in the next 6 months. So I kind of needed to get it now.
Have you, I know I think I ask this question every once in a while. I don't know if I can't remember if the answer's ever changed, but have you considered like honestly investing more into games like this as a collector just to turn around in a year to sell? Like from my perspective, you generally get the stuff you want because you want it, but because it's collector stuff and I mean, anytime I hear anybody talk about any limited release, like even my friend who got the Baldur's Gate collector's stuff, which has like a number on it, and it's one of several tens of thousands, even that, she was talking about like expecting the price to go way, way, way up here in like the next year or so, and I'm like, man, I mean, I understand why the price goes up because people want to sell it. Like I understand why people do that market because it's so profitable. But have you considered doing that just for profitability? Like,
No, no. Like, okay, I've considered, as in I've thought about it specifically, but
yeah,
not in a serious way, because I do, and just like a lot of Switch collectors will say, because there are a stupid amount of them. I watch plenty of YouTube videos, just seeing all these other people that are living that quote unquote dream, and in that life, it's so very particular, and you have to do, and it's part of my whole non-capitalist way of living. But um, as I say that when I spent like fucking $120 in games, but at the same time, like if you want to do that, you have to do some things that you would normally not want to do. Like one of the people I watch on YouTube is Phoenix Resale, and he's like, a lot of these people, they'll not only get deals at garage sales and stuff where it's like, okay, you actually have a profit like immediately, but 9 times out of 10, they have to go buy this shit that's just randomly valuable for some reason that you have no attachment to for any reason, and then hope in the next 2-3 months that you can sell it for $5 more than you got it, things like that. And they
yeah,
just have to do that over and over and over, and I am not interested in that.
no,
uh,
me neither.
like I
It
I
sounds like
do pay close attention to those things, but yeah.
it sounds like I've worked with people who do like gig jobs, so anything like DoorDash or similar things
Task
where
Rabbit, like things like that.
yeah, where in a lot of situations they might have to like book their own work or schedule their own hours. Man, I mean, I'm all about, doing the hustle like that we're doing here because I love it. Or even volunteering or contributing my labor to someone else's dream if the situation is right. But I've worked with people who've worked those kinds of gig jobs. Not just door dashing. I've plenty of people have done that. But things where you really have to go out and secure your own work. Or even just imagine like an MLM thing like selling Cutco knives or something, right? I'm like, man, I just want to show up and do work. I don't want to have to find the work and then do it because that takes so much emotional labor.
Mhm.
And there's so many layers to that of like how well, did you secure enough work? How well did you do in your work? Where do you stand among your peers? What's your future like and all this? And I'm just like, nope, 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 nope. Just tell me when to show up. Just tell me what to do and pay me for it.
And like 9 times out of 10, if you ever do get into like looking at the video game collector scene and stuff, like a lot of these people, they end up, because they're doing things almost exclusively on YouTube and eBay and Amazon, they end up like debasing themselves just to get a sale. You know,
Yeah.
like this guy bought, I think he spent, $350 or $450 on a bullshit replica sword, and he
As you
was
do.
like, yeah, like it was just a random part of like a lot that he bought, and he's like, I hope to God I can sell this today. And he was at a convention, and he's like, the very beginning of the video, he's just like, so like 450, yeah, yeah, and he's pointing everybody to that sword, and everybody's like, no, dude, that's
No.
stupid. No, why would anybody want this? It was really funny because it took like the whole video. It was like an hour long convention video, and at the very end, he's like, 150, can you just please? And somebody actually got it, but they're like really looking at him like, I don't know.
Mm,
It's really funny. Like they technically got the deal end of it, and it was funny as hell. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm not about that
Which
life.
sword was it?
Which
It was
sword was
a
it?
Phoenix. Oh, it was not a it was a DMC sword. I just don't remember which one. It was one of Dante's swords, but it
Okay.
may have actually been the DMC specific game, the reboot.
Right.
Man, I love that
Yeah,
artist.
it was not worth the money, like at all.
Whoops. Well, all right. Well, we'll steer away from.
Sure thing.
Yeah, sorry, I can't. Words are hard. Yeah, we'll help you steer away from getting sucked into that collector's life. You say that you got like a non-capitalist lifestyle. Well, I wouldn't equivocate spending money with being like pro-capitalist. Like there's a lot to unpack there, but I think just because you got to eat. And by eat, I mean get cool collector's editions of
Yeah.
your favorite games.
I literally have to have the Fire Emblem Engage Divine Edition. It's part of my body now. Like,
Some people go to church. I order art books.
yeah.
Well, hell yeah. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll continue to talk about that elsewhere, but that certainly made me smile. I hope everybody at home feels the same way. I'm glad we all had a, good news to report from the past week. Well, let's talk about what we've been playing. So, we played 3 games after the show last week. We played 3 demos. We intended to get to 4, but demos are super unpredictable, which is kind of what makes them so fun. So we didn't even get to the 4th one, but I'm going to talk about 2 of those, one of which reminds me of the conversation we're having right now, talking about selling things and trying to undercut yourself and stuff. But let's go with the game that matches the visual on screen here. Vilos, you got a couple lined up here. I know absolutely nothing about either of them. What do you
They're
got?
very
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yes, they are.
Yes, that first one is going to be Getsu Fuma, and I'm actually going to look at what the box says here real quick, because the thing was, Getsu Fuma, I didn't realize it until I freaking got this, that Getsu Fuma was an NES game. It was a side-scrolling action game, very reminiscent of a Ninja Gaiden, except like blockier pixels, I guess. Really chunky graphics, but actually looked, if the so the NES version is actually on this cartridge, which I did not expect at all.
Oh,
It's really cool, but it's very much almost a one-to-one with how they brought this game back. Getsu Fuma Undying Moon really is like a remake plus, just 30 years of awesome piled on top of an NES game, because it is.
I hope that's the
It,
elevator pitch. They're like, look, just imagine the old game, but it's got so much awesome packed into that thing.
Yeah.
But if you open up the case, the game's gone. All the awesome was actually stolen out of the box.
It really is, though. I mean, it's a Konami game. I've never really been a Konami guy. I'd say, Metal Gear was actually probably the only real Konami experience I had. I didn't play much Contra.
You mean you didn't play world-renowned, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels of the Roses?
No.
On Nintendo GameCube?
Duel!
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm slacking on that, obviously.
I just typed in Konami games into Google to just see what would pop up, and the first thing on there is this game you're talking about, Getsu Fumadin, Undying Moon. Yeah, and the second one is Yu-Gi-Oh! So wow, you got your finger on the pulse.
That's messed up. That's
wow.
I think we hit like the entire Konami audience just then. So
there are a bunch of other games here, but the first Metal Gear game to pop up is Metal Gear Survive, and that hurts.
Really?
Yeah.
Although, hey,
Konami's
actually,
also responsible for DDR, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, I was about to say, man, you guys know what's up.
But tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or next Friday. Is Metal Gear Collection is coming. Ooh. Metal Gear Collection's coming back.
That's right. For the Switch too, right?
Yes. So with that said, Getsu Fuma is a roguelike. You guys know I don't play roguelikes. I want to finish games. The cool thing was that I looked it up on how long to beat, and it's only about a 5-hour game if you actually are able to complete it. Boy, I played a couple hours and got through the first boss and a half.
And you knew that you were definitely going to finish it because you like to finish games, right?
Most definitely. But if you want to, if you want to roll the video that I got, though, it's of the first boss, which is just visually top notch. Just
yes. Real fun. I've told you sometimes I struggle with a lot of particles on screen, but this is like, because everything is kind of like, I don't know, it's almost, how do I describe it?
It's living.
Yeah, instead of lots of tiny little dots and stuff on screen and like really narrow bits of light, like the flame, I'm actually going to even back this up. The like flames coming off of this boss, like all that stuff is really nice on my eyes. It's so bright.
I think it's because it's like grounded on something static rather than just like a bunch of pretty colors randomly around for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the really cool thing about it. I'm really in love with the art style because it is like a hand-painted background with many different layers on top of it, and then your 3D models of the actual enemies that you're fighting and stuff. And then they're like somewhat cel-shaded. Very just extremely pleasing when you're playing. Controls wise, it's all right. It's pretty standard roguelike. But the enemies are tough. It's very demanding. You start out the game with 2 health potions, and that's it. As far as I can tell so far, I beat the first boss, and it kind of does open up more parts of the levels, but you still have to go through the whole damn thing to beat the game, as far as I can tell so far.
What do you mean?
Because I got to the second boss, did not win that fight, and it shoots you back to the Getsu Fuma den, the home
oh no,
of the Getsu family. Yeah, so that's the whole point, is that you are the one hero that's supposed to keep your family intact, your village, and basically hell has opened up and is gonna consume your village if you don't do something about it.
Fuma is the 27th leader of the Getsu clan. He must find his lost brother and repair the broken seal, which is this gate from hell. The seal from hell broke after 1,000 years. You got to know, at 999 years, you better be preparing. If you got a seal of some sort, if you're not ready, look. There's nothing.
Listen, we got 3 shurikens and like 1 gigantic whatever the hell this weapon is, because I forget what they're called.
2 health potions.
and 2 health. That's all we can manage. I know you've got like this fur outfit and shit, but you can't fit anything else in there, man. So sorry.
Think of the
I love this art direction though. It's giving like Okami.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of those vibes. The enemies are very Attack on Titan, actually. there's a couple of really, really fucked up ones. um, when you get to the second level, it's one of the mainstays of the original game. It reminded me a lot of Doom, actually. It's basically a flaming skull. I don't even know how to put it, except the eyes are like 5 times bigger than they should be. They're like almost all eyes and teeth and flames and like really scraggly hair. It's messed up. You don't want to see them coming at you, is what I'm saying.
Where's the rose and the snake in the flaming skull? Like,
Actually, there's so much going on in the character models that it probably is actually in there somewhere. But yeah, they're really gross enemies that you're fighting. So far, it's really fun. I put a couple hours into it, and I've just not gotten far enough. Because of course, as any typical roguelike, or I dare say it, Souls-like, it has some cheap input delay, or actually, I wouldn't say input delay. It has some cheap, maybe reaction time to enemies or something. Like the dodges are okay. They're pretty accurate, and you do have some invincibility frames in there. And you can stun an enemy just enough to not get hit whenever you swing something like my huge weapon that I was using there.
Hell
If
yeah.
I hit them just right, you know.
I'm
So you've got a ton of different weapons you can use. So far, that's been my only real like choice, is that gigantic baton thing. Because the daggers and the katanas and stuff like that are like a quarter of the damage output that thing is. So it is what it is. But I look forward to playing more of this and seeing if I can get good enough to get all the way through it in one go. I'll regret it, I'm sure. But
you have the power.
Thanks.
You're the chosen hero.
You can do it because you have to. Because you have to.
That's been the way I've been going about all of these types of games. Like it's too much. But I bought Dead Cells again, and I bought this in 1 year. I'm good on roguelikes. Never again.
That. I mean, we'll get to the game that I'm going to talk about, which is a roguelite, and I hope we play again. But that's Getsu Fuma Den Undying Moon. What just came out? Yeah. No, the game was released.
It's been on Switch for like 2 years almost.
Yep, 2022, February 9th. Yeah, February 2022.
But it's only been physical for a few months.
Well, nice. Yeah, sequel to the 1987 game. It was originally developed and published by Konami for the Famicom exclusively in Japan. Dang. Assuming that this Wikipedia article I'm reading off of is accurate.
Oh yeah, no, the game that you actually get on the Switch cartridge is in fucking Japanese too.
Oh, really? That's cool.
The NES game, they did not translate it. So you're just like, all right, sure, I'm pressing start. Let's go, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I sure know some of these objects.
No, I mean, it actually does have moments where you're supposed to talk to this witch or whatever, and I assumed that I was buying something from her, but I didn't, because I didn't earn anything in my inventory, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I? How am I? So yeah, the NES game, I'm not going to finish that one.
Gosh, it's so easy.
Yeah, well,
get good.
Well,
it's a lot.
I'm gonna step in just because the segue's right there, and I'd like to talk about Karmazoo, which we played last week. So that was the first game of all the demos that we loaded up for Steam Next Fest, which ended on Monday. There are a bunch of demos still available for a lot of the games that were publicized during Steam Next Fest. So if there's one that you missed, there's a good chance that there's still a demo. Unfortunately, Karmazoo is not one of those games, but it's only $7.50, and I already bought it. As soon as we were done playing, I was like, $7.50. I'm definitely going to play this game. So here's some footage from what we played. So the three of us jumped in because it was a demo. You cannot join a game using a code. Normally you'll be able to, but not yet. Now you can only just go into multiplayer and matchmaking. So the way that we played with each other, unfortunately it worked every single time, was that we just had to hit the matchmaking button at the exact same time.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that worked out without any issue. Once you get into the world of this platform, this very colorful platform game, you notice that there are no usernames on anyone, including yourself. You can tell who you are because you're a different color. On this video, you can see that I'm white while everyone else is blue. The games have different mechanics and all sorts of fun things that we'll see throughout this video. But on this level, there's this fun mechanic where you need to energize yourself using these light bulbs, and using the proximity of your teammates, you need to arc the electricity to the next bulb. And then once it's lit, you do the whole thing again for the next bulb that you can find. But some of them are pretty far apart, so you might need 2, 3, 4, 5 people to get all the way across the level to light them up. It's a very satisfying mechanic, and the entire point of this game is that you are usually doing something to help your teammates progress, but you yourself cannot benefit from the thing that you're doing. So there's a gate in front of you. You step on a button and all of your friends can pass, but as soon as you step off the button, you can't make it through in time. So someone on the other side of the gate will step on their own button, allowing for you to pass through. So when you do something good for someone, you get good karma, which is a currency in the game that you automatically get by doing something helpful. You can also launch karma like a gun, like a bow and arrow, at allies just because you want to. And it gives them the currency that you use to unlock the new skins. In here, we're all blobs. Right now, one person is a bat, it looks like. Or an owl, actually. I didn't notice that the first time we were playing. But there are like over 50 different creatures that you can embody. You learn everything in the game by just experimenting, just by trying stuff out. What you're looking at on here are all of these players and these bubbles, they call them halos, that surround each of you. This mechanic reminded me of Journey, where if you're near someone, then you're strong, and if you're far away from someone, you're more vulnerable. So as long as your halo is touching an ally's halo, you cannot permanently die. Full stop. Doesn't matter what happens to you, you will always respawn. But if you separate from everyone and you're by yourself, your halo will burst, and unless you have lives remaining, which only happens under special circumstances, you become a ghost. Ghosts can, under their own circumstances, still benefit the team, but for the most part, once you're a ghost, you are dead. If everybody becomes a ghost, the round is over, but that never happened to us, and the only fail state we reached was running out of time. In fact, I think it was on this level that we ran out of time. But lots of fun little platforming. If you hold, circle or B, your character sings. And so the blobs, when they sing, they sound like the characters from Tricky Towers. It's just this, just very shouty. But when you turn into other characters, they make different noises. And so on the level after this, we could change into these, I don't know, opera singers basically. And so now the like horrible dissonant singing sound, I say it's horrible, but it's fine, but compared to the opera singer who's like la 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 la, you use your sing to activate things in the environment. And so it was fun to see how different that was, to just have like, it just seems like for fun. It didn't seem like the singing did anything differently, it just sounded different. And with 50 different characters, it's fun that you could unlock the character you like that has a special sound that maybe represents you. But this game was
I like the default blob singing.
Yeah,
I think regardless of who I unlock, because I will be playing this game some more.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so cute. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like, why did they sound
the singer was absolutely the shopkeeper from Cadence of Hyrule, so
Oh yeah,
it was fun.
Well, check this out. I'm going to rewind this a tiny bit, but as we go through the level, you can collect these fruit, these hidden gems. Usually there are like 25 or 35 of them. Some are obvious, some are hidden. You can go through like false walls, like a Metroid game, to find them. But you can complete the level without doing those, but when you do finish the level, these cards pop up on screen, roguelite style, and they say, hey, what upgrade or whatever do you want for the next mission? And some of them have obvious benefits like jump higher or you get an extra life. But other ones, which are the ones we chose every single time, were surprise saxophone or unexpected voices, which is the one that unlocked the opera singer, I believe. But lots of fun, goofy things. The soundtrack was a joy. It reminded me of the vibe of Heave Ho and Ultimate Chicken Horse, kind of over the top, but there's always this music, there's always this sound going on that gives it this energy. This seems like it would be a great game to play locally if you had friends over, because it's relatively easy, but the whole point is it really rewards cooperation. And it especially rewards the person who goes out of their way to help the other people, which I enjoy. Of course, that can be frustrating when you're like, guys, I held the door open for all of you, and now somebody held it open for me. But it was a real joy. I will definitely be playing this on stream as soon as it comes out, which is November 14th. Big fan. I mean, do you guys have anything else to say besides, go watch a trailer for it? Besides
Well,
what we said here.
I recently received another code for a closed beta play period for this game. So I'm guessing they're still going to have some more play times between now and the release. I would suggest going to like their Discord or their website and seeing if you can't get in on that. Because if you can get in on another playtest, you don't have to wait until the release to play anymore.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. If you go to pastagames.com, which I didn't make that up, that's real. Pasta Games is the developer, Devolver Digital is the publisher. Their website's pretty fun. Not that it like means anything except for just being goofy. Their website has in-browser achievements that you can unlock just for looking around in it. Whoever built it clearly looks like they had a good time. So you should visit their website, even if you're not going to play, honestly. But this is the developer who made Going Under and Pixel the Cat, which it's a game I own on PlayStation. I've never booted it up. But honestly, I might now after really enjoying this. So Karmazoo, November 14th, $7.49 on Steam. Come play it with me. I seriously cannot wait.
What did they say the max
Karmazoo.
player count was going to be, though?
10. We only got up to like 6, but it'll be 10. I don't know how it'll mix the private lobbies and public lobbies. I'm hoping you can just stay private until you say, hey, now I want to opt in to matchmaking. It seems like you'd need at least like 4 players minimum to play most of these levels, but yeah, it supports up to 10, and there's also a local co-op only, according to the trailer, version that has like a more competitive vibe to it. So hopefully we'll be able to see that online anyway, even though they said it's local. But either way, I'm especially interested in the co-op, so that's really what I'm here for. That's like in Spelunky. I'm like, bruh, I'd way rather play co-op than just like get completely blasted by somebody in the competitive.
But Sid's like,
No, I'm wondering how a game like this could be competitive.
It's a whole different mode. It's a whole different game type, so to speak.
So maybe like a collect all the fruits yourself sort of situation?
Or... Yeah, or like reach the end and there are a bunch of hazards along the way kind of thing. I meant to do that. Yeah, so Karmazoo's a lot of fun. Go check it out. I'll talk about it again later once it's out. But I can't say good enough things about this. I thought it looked fun, and I was really just blown away by how much it made me smile the whole time. Good sound design. Really good sound design.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, cool. Well, we'll come back to me for the other game after this. But Sid, what if we bounce your way?
Yeah. So, Vilos, you said earlier that you had your fill of roguelikes, and we just got done talking about 2 of them, and here comes another one.
Oh no!
Ha ha! But not only is it a roguelike, it's an arcade twin stick pinball roguelike. Does that make sense? Are you still with me?
Those are words for sure.
You said a few things that made the roguelike part better. Yeah, pinball, I'm okay with.
And it's not just like a pinball, like, you're playing a pinball machine. It's like you are the pinball, and you are... I don't even know how to describe this game. It's so zany. But it is called... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna. Yeah, I love it. It's called Mecha Ball, Bawl, which.
Oh no, it's BAL. It's I only spelled that way in the just to be funny in the video, but it's called Go Mecha Ball with like BAL, like actual ball.
Oh well, you should be in charge of their marketing because
Everything's ruined.
I'm like BAWL says it all. You know, it's like writing stuff with K's when there shouldn't be. You know, you're like, wow, look at these knuckleheads.
Nether realm. But no, I picked this up on a whim because I was looking for games to play during our Next Fest demo last week. And even though I ultimately decided on Another Crab's Treasure, which is also fun, and y'all should check that out again if you get a chance. I was like, wow, how did I not come across this earlier? Because it's like right up my alley. Like it's so over the top zany. It's got this colorful, like
It's so
arcade
bright.
look to it. It's so bright and technicolory. Like, and it's not loud. Like it's not colorful in a way that's loud. It's just very vibrant.
I
And
mean, if those shades of purple were just a little lighter, I would definitely say it was loud. You know,
yeah,
because it's close.
when I saw the trailer, I was worried about playing it on my monitor because I thought it might be a little overwhelming, especially like in motion.
Mhm.
But honestly, I mean, it does take a little bit of acclimating too, especially for someone. What was the condition that you said that you had, Tegan? Try.
Oh well, I always mix it up. You know, it's
It's some kind of
it's funny to
color condition.
describe a condition I have and get it wrong every single time because it is every time. I used to say it's the tritonotopia, but it's actually not that one that I just said incorrectly. I think it's actually because that one is the purple and green one that you use, I believe, for Overwatch. The one that works for me is like deuteranopia or something. It's where everything's just like a little muted.
Yeah, everything's like blandified. I wonder if they have a color option for that game or for this game like that because I bet if we could mute the colors just a little bit, it would be more accessible to a lot more people. Even though I had a blast playing this game. I didn't like, I don't suffer from any kind of like visual condition like that. But I'm thinking about the people who might who may miss out on a game like this, because I mean, honestly, reading the genre out loud, arcade twin stick pinball roguelike, just makes you want to pick up the game. It's just like
Right,
those
Vilos?
elements don't really come together in a fashion that you can expect to just be able to jump into and pick up like I did.
You know what?
Um,
Looking at this footage right now reminds me of You Suck at Parking because you're just like zooming around all the time. You're going one way and then suddenly you're going the other. Maybe I should rethink of You Suck at Parking as almost a pinball game because the way that the game is built with like the threats and the camera angles, because it's also isometric-y.
mhm.
This one is isometric proper, but I think You Suck at Parking is like isometric adjacent. I'd have to
Yeah.
I'd have to look back. I can't remember, but um, yeah, that just really jumped out at me looking at this.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from too, because you suck at parking is also very like momentum based. Like if you have too much momentum going, you can't park your car. You have to like brake and stuff.
Right.
And that's one of the mechanics of this game is that you have to juggle your momentum. In fact, how you primarily attack besides guns is what's called a collision. It's like a little short dash that you can do. And if you do that right when an enemy is about to attack, you deny them their attack, and it gives you more ammo for your guns. So it's like a dance of shooting and controlling your momentum with the collisions, bouncing around with the boost pads and everything. And those also allow you to collide with enemies. So if you have your collision on cooldown, you can enter boost mode by using the boost pads as well. So it's like really cleverly designed in that you always have something in your arsenal. Like you're never really left without a way to attack because it is a wave based game. And monsters are constantly coming. Um, and you have to have some way to protect yourself, and you never run out of ways that you can do that, especially with the upgrade and and ability systems. As it it's a roguelike, so of course you got to go through the runs and you have to unlock the upgrades and get more weapons. And in the demo it did show that there are more characters to unlock. This one is
Mhm.
called, I can't remember, but it's like a cat based robot mech. But there's like some kind of like beholdery squid looking one. There's one that just looks like a tire. I wonder how that one works.
What? Those
Yeah,
are
it just
very different things.
but they all have, the ability to morph into this ball. I mean, the tire is probably just going to stay a tire, but
No, actually, that's gonna morph into an octopus. You know, it's funny that you
it
say
looks
this.
more like a wheelbarrow
I
than a
just took
tire.
a picture when we were on that trip I talked about. There was a bike shop, and in the window, someone took scraps of bike tires and made art out of it. They made a squid. They made an octopus. So like the main body, the main head of it is a bike helmet that's all black, and then all the tentacles are scraps of the bike tires. It was very cool. I'll
Oh
share the
wow.
photo somewhere. But that's funny because man, what a crossover of octopus Cthulhu looking tires. Never thought that'd come up in today's show, but here we are.
I mean, the universe is smaller than we think. I mean, found art like that was so cool. It kind of reminds me of when I went to the Nelson Atkins. There was like this big found art thing. There was like gas tanks and stuff from Africa, but that's neither here nor there. This game, I think, will be coming out soon because right now, during this weekend, they're doing like a closed beta playtest sort of affair. And I actually I'm going to be participating in it over the weekend. I had to sign an NDA, so I can't stream it or anything. So I'm wondering if maybe it might be closer to the final build than we received in the next fest.
Wait,
I don't
so
know.
an NDA for the future gameplay or the gameplay we're watching right this minute?
The future gameplay. No, this
Okay,
one's
I'm
during the
like,
this one. This one's during the next fest. I played it like on the very last day that it was available during the next fest. I think was Monday. So I ended up, if you're watching it, this is like stream footage from
oh,
Monday's stream.
is this called Go Mecha Ball?
Yes.
Oh, I should probably update what I wrote on the. Okay, and people are like, I cannot find this game as it's written. What's going on? Go Mecha Ball, not the Mecha. Oh gosh, I just had it in my head and I lost it. What's the mech one the Mech Arena one where you like play the tutorial in a baseball field? I shouldn't even brought it up. I can't remember the names of any
You
games
do
in my
every
whole
time.
life. Every time I'm like, oh, I got this. I'm gonna say something great. Just can't remember any of the nouns. But besides that, oh, well, this seems rad. I've got it pulled up on Steam. It's developed by Whale Peak Games, published by Super Rare Originals. Might see if they've made anything else.
I didn't realize it was a super rare original. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. This developer, this is their first game, it looks like. So I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, and then the developers are also super like active in the community too. I actually found out after the fact that one of the head honchos, Jacob. Oh gosh, I'm gonna mess up his name now. It's like Jacob Schroeder, I think. I don't know. I mean, I did look at the credits, but I forget. I can't remember the nouns either. He actually had been watching a good portion of my stream, and so that was really cool. That and
That's dope.
Battlecore Robots is the same way. Like they have the passionate, active developers too. Uh, really, really indie games like this, where it's like their first foray. They're really excited about checking people playing out their game or checking people out playing their game. I really thoroughly enjoy that because sometimes you get insider like edition kind of feedback, like I would make this decision because such and such and such. And honestly, if I had known he was there, because he was just lurking, he didn't say anything in chat, I would have asked him, why this? What made you think of this premise? Because it sounds so wacky when you look at it and when you hear about like the different blend of genres. But then when you see it in action, it seems like it should have been like that all along. It's so
Yep.
intuitive. The controls are easy to learn. The tutorial was so short because you don't like you can really intuit how to play the game. The only thing that you really need to keep in mind is how collisions work. That's
Mhm.
basically it. But everything else you can really intuit on your own. It's really nice. It's super polished for especially like a Next Fest demo. Like there was only one major bug that I encountered and had to like submit to them. And I'm looking forward to delving deeper into the game over the weekend. I cannot wait.
Heck yeah. Well, before we circle back to Vilos, I want to ask you. I know we didn't write this on the doc, but if you could give me a 30-second summary of how you felt about the Another Crab's Treasure game that we played last week.
Well, I mean, it's my first foray into like a really like Souls-like game. It's not really the genre that calls out to me, but I had a good time and I want to play that too. Dark Souls under the sea. That's I feel like that's all I need to say.
It took me a second to process what you said. Dark Souls Under the Sea. It was a real joy watching you play that, honestly. For the same reason, I think it's really fun to watch people play games that are just not in their normal wheelhouse. Vilos says he doesn't like roguelikes as much, and I completely understand. Also, I'm on board anytime you're gonna give one of those a chance, and you do. And I always enjoy, Vilos over here doesn't like streaming as much as I wish that I could watch him play pretty much every game he plays. I'm over here and I'm like, oh, well, I can't play this game if I'm not streaming. And Vilos is like, if you even talk to me about streaming, I'm going home. I've taken my Mecha Ball and I'm going home. No, I'm just kidding. But it is funny how we all have such different preferences on what we play, under what circumstances we play them. And so then to see each of us outside of our comfort zone a little bit, really playing something different, is so much fun to me to watch. Like seeing someone who is an experienced gamer experience something that they're less personally experienced with, because
I don't know what you're talking about because I definitely beat that game like first try. My boss was like not even.
You did
no death run.
Yeah, no
sure.
death. No, you did pretty well for not playing those games yourself very often, or at all. Have you ever played a game in like a
like I've never played Dark Souls or Bloodborne and I definitely haven't played Elden Ring because bitch is on a budget. But I'm trying to think of anything that might come close.
Before we shy away from this, is that the only reason you haven't played Elden Ring? If you got your hands on
I see what you're doing.
Ring?
No, don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
No. Unrelated, I started playing Elden Ring again this past week, so maybe I'll keep working on that. But okay, well, so that's Sid playing Go Mecha Ball on Steam. The release date, it said, I had the wrong game lined up. Coming soon. Okay, it says coming soon on Steam, so we'll see it hopefully soon.
Soon TM.
Soon TM. Yeah, cool. It says sign up for the playtest right there on the Steam page. I believe this is only on Steam. Don't quote me on that, but a glance over here seems to indicate that. So go check it out. Okay, well, Vilos, let's bounce back to you then. You got another very Japanese game in your pocket.
Yes, that is Baten Kaitos Origins, and I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but it is one of the first forays for Monolith Soft really getting their hands dirty on a Nintendo console. This is a remaster plus of the original GameCube game. So it's Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 basically, but the Origins game is a prequel, but it was the second game released. I knew that, but I did want to try Origins first. After starting it up the first couple hours, I pretty much decided, yeah, I will go ahead and play the first Baten Kaitos. And then Origins, saw on a few forums and stuff that release is going to be the best way to play it. As far as story and things like that, so I don't ruin certain things that happen in the first game by playing the prequel. It's one of those JRPG things that happens, with stories like that. But yeah, these came out on the GameCube originally, and they were gorgeous at the time. The interesting thing here is that it's a card-based battler. Except it's not a card game, right? That's what everybody that plays it is going to tell you. It's not a fucking card game. So it's
you played Neon White, which is a card game, but not a card game, right?
Right?
We played Friends versus Friends. That's a card game, but not.
There you go. That's going to be the best comparison, I think, because as you see in the screenshot, you see the different weapons. You see the first one's actually your special attack. The second one is a 3 swipes of your blade. Basically, the third card is the 1 swipe of your blade. And it's got a little bit of a timing system. So it's kind of RNG based. I don't know exactly if there's something else behind it that I don't know about. But let's say, for example, you just decide to hit the number 3 sword one. If you hit that one, there is a chance that it basically opens up a combo and you have like 2 seconds to hit another card. And if you hit the right card, it's going to give you the option to do that again for the next card. And so you're kind of just going through this deck in a very RNG fashion, to kill your enemies. The Origins version of the game is definitely different than the first game. So I'm hoping it's a little better than what I've played so far. But at the end of the day, I
Don't let
think
Rappier say that.
yeah, I think this game is a solid 50 hours, but the first game is definitely like 70 plus hours. So I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet. I'm not going to.
It
It's not
gets
going to
good
be
after
one that
the
I count for my year. You know.
It gets good after the first 30 hours, probably.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
One Piece fans be like, no.
Yeah. So far, Origins was definitely a little bit weird. Starting it up, you're this character that is a quote unquote rookie in his in where he's at in life. He's in this dark army. I forget what they officially call them, but literally they're called the Dark something something. They're these guards
Yeah.
for this politician. You're a guard for a politician, and this politician is a giant douchebag, obviously, because the very first mission that you're sent on is to kill the emperor.
Oh man, classic.
And his position, if the emperor dies, guess what? He's the emperor now.
You know what?
So
that's what happens when you get
yeah.
voted Speaker of the House. Timely.
Exactly. That's pretty much it, though. And the very beginning of the game is just so funny with that, because you're just like, "What? I'm already the bad guy. All right, why am I here?" So definitely, I'm sure it's going to be more refreshing for me to play the first game instead of this prequel. But it's interesting. It's got some Monolith Soft hallmarks. I mean, the really creative character design, gorgeous art for the most part. There's a couple weird things in it, but the levels are really pretty. Just imagining this back on the GameCube, I'm just like, what? Because I know it was a really good looking game for the GameCube back then, but the Switch version is really clean, like stupid clean. The only thing that's weird about it is for some reason when you're actually walking around the overworld, like they put shine on everything.
Oh yeah.
Like just every little lighting source just makes everything shimmer, and like you literally see light sources just make something shimmer. Like you're not moving. If you stand perfectly still, you'll see the background just be like shine. It makes no sense. Like all right. But as you can see here, this is one of the actual battles. You basically have to just watch for when your character pops up on the left, so you can choose your cards.
Wait.
And that's it.
How is there a turn order otherwise? I mean,
yeah, in this particular case, you do have a party member here, and this creepy dude that's your AI companion sort of thing. Yeah.
Is
And
there
it
like
gives you
like what is the priority that determines who goes when? Is there like a speed like affair, or
I have no idea. It really, that part doesn't make any sense, and it does not tell you anything. Of course, as with traditional monolith soft fashion, there's tutorials if you read them. The pages,
read Japanese, simple.
the pages of things in the settings. No,
oh
it's
goodness.
it literally it doesn't tell you anything in this game. The very first battle is very easy and obvious as to what to do, but you do have like a notebook of sorts in the settings to just peruse at your disposal. Like that's it. It has not told me a single thing on how to do anything except for picking mages, because the cards are called mages, and you have a set deck that you do end up having the ability to customize and stuff. But you actually pick up elements in the world. Like you go up to this light over here, and it can give you a flame for your magus, and you just store it on your card.
Hell
There's
yeah. That's cool.
a barrel of water over there. Go over there and take some water and store it on your magus card. And maybe actually you should probably store it on 2 cards, because you're probably going to waste one of the cards on doing something stupid. Like one of the very first quests that I did, it made it very obvious that I needed to get some water on a card. So I did that. And I found this guy that was just, somebody beat the hell out of him. I beat the dudes that did it. And then it's like, maybe he could be woken up with some water. And it's like, all right, fine. Okay. And so you press it, basically in a very Golden Sun maneuver. You just flip your card on the main screen, click it, use, and it it just has a little shower of water on top of the guy.
Oh,
He wakes up, starts the cutscene, things like that. It's very interesting.
Wait, but did you wait? I thought you were about to describe how you wasted it. Like you cast it on him, and then he was like,
Oh,
"Didn't work,"
okay,
or something.
yeah. So no, I casted it on him, and then I talked to him, and he's like, "Okay, yeah, you should probably come back to me whenever you're ready." And I'm like, "Ready for what?" I kept talking to him, and he just kept saying the same thing. I'm like, "Okay, fine." So I left the room, and eventually I found an item that he wanted. Uh, Only when I found the item and came back to him did he say anything different, and I had to get another water mage just because he was asleep on the floor again. So
Oh,
oh
what?
my gosh.
yeah.
Oh,
So it's one of those JRPG things that just happens, from time to time. But yeah, I'm definitely intrigued with this game. I've been waiting for the first game a lot longer, so I'm going to play that one uh, relatively soon. But it's it's not on my 2023 JRPG stuff. I've already made the decision. So
You're just playing this one for fun.
yeah, unfortunately.
unfortunately, this guy. No, that's
No,
funny.
no,
Well,
this
it does
this
look
one
like a
I
very fun card game.
yeah,
Not a card
yeah,
game.
It's a card game.
it,
It's a card game.
yeah.
Well,
Very
neat.
technically.
So how think you're gonna finish it ever?
Yeah, just not this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be next year for sure.
Well,
Because
cool.
I know it's good, but you were right when you said the typical JRPG thing. It gets good in 30 hours.
No.
This because it's a monolith soft game, so it actually always has to have some sort of delay like that. And looking at the forums and stuff, it does look like the first game gets good, quote unquote, like 10 hours in. So
That's not so bad. I mean,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not terrible.
yeah. All things considered, that's I wouldn't quite call that egregious, especially in the genre. I think that's reasonable.
yeah.
Well, cool. I'm glad you're playing that, or I'm glad you're enjoying that. How did you end up playing this in the first place? Like, has it been something you've always been interested in? Did it just randomly come up that it was available?
I mean, I am a GameCube at heart kid. There were so many games that I missed on GameCube though, because it was just right before I started having my own money,
Yeah.
and
Wait,
it's
this
it's
opens
that
up
timing
Pandora's
thing.
box. Have you played?
Pandora's
Wait,
Cube,
okay.
actually.
Have you played Tales in Symphonia?
No,
Streaming win.
but I have it. I have it. I have it, and it is this year's list. It's on this year's list.
Better play that
I know plenty about it.
game.
I've had it on my Steam list for forever, or actually on my Steam library forever.
Hell
But
yeah,
yeah,
2024. Let's go.
basically everything that we need is starting to come. That's the big thing. So we've got Baten Kaitos, Tales of Symphonia remastered is out on Switch now. Suikoden 1 and 2 is coming to Switch within the next couple months. Obviously, Super Mario RPG is coming, and there's another one. There's another one, but in this case, it was all the GameCube stuff that I've always wanted to play that never got to. That is now stupidly expensive because these fucking games are $200+ every one of them until they're re-released on Switch, and then it's like, ah, man,
Oh my
for the
god.
collectors. It brings us back to that whole collectors thing.
Right. They're like, damn
I
it! Now everyone can play it. Soiled or foiled again.
Capitalism.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's one of those that's always been on my list. And the second it was announced at that direct, I think it may have been the mid-year direct. I was super excited, but there was no fucking way that I was going to pay $50 for the digital version. I wanted to get the physical. Obviously, that's how you want to play these games. And there's so many remakes coming out. That's going to be a whole other blog post and stuff, because I've put together a list of at least 25 remakes that are being released within this year that you need for Switch, and it's just great. Love it.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, those are two very Japanese games. Both of them, when they lined up, I was just like, oh boy, I have no background. Got to do some sleuthing. So now I know some more. Yeah, so a remake of a 1987 game and a remaster, or not a remake, sorry, a sequel to a 1987 game and a remaster of a GameCube game. Throwback. Well, cool. Earlier on in the show, you had mentioned, actually, as we were having once again this collector conversation of undercutting and figuring out where to sell and kind of got to hustle and work hard for it. The demo that you actually played last week, Vilos, was Intergalactic Pawn Shop. Let's get this video up here. So I only watched this. I didn't play it, but I really enjoyed watching this. It's classic Vilos, very much a, you are a narrator or like you are a protagonist that you never see, talking to all these interesting people that all want something or another from you. And much like similar games, so this is Intergalactic Pawn Shop. Similar games are Papers, Please and Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator. In my head, I always picture Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm like, oh gosh, there's so many, letters here. No, Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, which you introduced me and many people to. It's a game where you are trying to buy and sell just for the sake of profiting, because this is the job you do. This is the role that you play in this world. But these interesting people you meet are going to respond differently to whatever you do based on maybe something that you have to do that you don't want to, or something that you are doing because maybe you think that this character is good or you think they're bad and you want to maybe punish them for it, or just to see where something can go. Because someone might show up in your pawn shop and they may want to sell you something that turns out to be a fake. And so people appear in your shop, like this guy you can see on screen right now. Hoity-toity, very first customer, very rich guy. And so he sets something on the table, and what does he say he thinks it is? I think, well, whatever it is, it turns out...
VR set, right? Or
Yeah,
he thought it was like
He thought it
goggles.
was like scuba tank
Yeah.
goggles or something.
Right. And we think, or at least the discussion was that they might be VR goggles. They look like, early 2000-ish VR goggles. And so you have to decide based on the information that you've got, which is weight and some other descriptors, whether or not this thing is fake. And so the game tells you if it's real, it's valued about this, in this area, in this window. And if it's so if it's real, it costs this much. If it's fake, it's this much. And so you try to convince them through dialogue that it is or isn't fake, and they may or may not call your bluff if you're lying to them. And if you're telling them the truth, they still might not like to hear that and be upset about it. So based on whatever you discuss with them, you will either agree to pay for it and to buy it, or you won't. And so they will give you the money, or, there's the exchange of goods, and then they will leave a review for your pawn shop. And so what was hinted at, but we couldn't really see the fruition of, if I'm even saying that correctly, is that those reviews are supposed to lead to getting higher quality customers. Whether that means those people are going to make you more money because they have real goods, or they just have more expensive goods that you have to determine whether they're real or fake or not. We're not quite sure what that is, because the demo didn't go so far to show the payoff there. But obviously, as you're haggling with these people, like, haggling is sort of its own art is what I meant. And speaking of art, I don't have the art of speaking. I lost that in space. Maybe I can download a chip or something that I can buy at this pawn shop, because I'm struggling so much. But anyway, everybody shows up with all of these weird items that are like kind of jokes. Like, this one was like, oh, it's a set of VR goggles. It's like the Oculus or something. The funniest one, the one I remember the most, is some character shows up. Let's see, do I have it in this video? Oh, I bet I can scrub forward. Someone shows up with, here we go, this bomb that is from
Yeah.
the Black Pink War. And essentially what this describes, he says there was a war between what we determined to be the people who like Barbie and the people who like Oppenheimer. And I'm like, man, I mean, those things aren't that far in the past. I didn't expect a reference to that to end up in this game so quickly. But it's got all this clever, funny writing where even if you didn't know what they were referring to, you could still feel like you were in on the joke. And the writing seemed well enough, like I had no problem with anything I saw. Sometimes a game like this that doesn't have good writing, that just has mediocre writing, can really fall flat, But I didn't feel that way at all in here. You had interesting dialogue. You had the mechanic of trying to discern, just like Papers, Please, trying to discern, is this thing real? Is it fake? How much am I going to lose if I'm wrong? Or how much, how great would it be if I was wrong in the wrong direction? Like I thought it was fake, paid the fake price, and then it turned out to be real. But yeah, lots of just interesting small things. Really take it at your own pace kind of game. Interesting characters, interesting art style. Seemed pretty cool. For me, games like these, I mean, I definitely enjoyed Papers, Please, and my main qualm with Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator was just the visuals. It wasn't any of the gameplay or anything. I thought that all that stuff was very cool. But those are typically watch games for me because you can... I mean, I would almost say that they make me feel the way that cozy games feel. They are not cozy games. That's not what's going on here.
Yeah.
But they make me feel that way because I feel like I can just kick back and watch the world unfold. Like something that I think is interesting about games as a medium is that when you're playing a game, the game only progresses when you hold the left stick forward, so to speak. Like the game stops when you stop and it goes when you go, and your character, whatever that means, actually does the things that you tell them to do. You have to live with the consequences of your actions, however that plays out. But when you're watching people play games, suddenly it's more like a movie where no matter what I do, no matter how anxious something sounds or how chaotic I would be if I played a game, I'm not the one playing. Like I'm watching. And so to watch things unfold in maybe unexpected ways is especially fun to me because then you get to see the person playing, in this case it was you, Vilos, kind of react in real time to like, wait a minute, what? Like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen, or oh, that son of a bitch, he's trying to scam me right now. And I love hearing that dialogue play out because in a game like this, you aren't just like the main character who has like some sort of story arc or anything. In this, it's like your character is just whoever like you, the player, decide they are, right? There are no obvious like this says path chosen, right? So you decided what you were going to do in this dialogue, and that was totally up to you to decide. The game doesn't have like a Paragon Renegade system, right? It's not so binary that you're either good or evil. Instead, it's all based on your individual interactions with each of these characters and how that plays over the course of a run until you get an ending, right? And so the demo did have an ending that was scripted. It seemed like our decisions didn't actually affect what that ending would be just because it's a demo. And of course, that's speculation. I don't know that for sure. But yeah, it was a fun ending with this woman shows up and something. I won't spoil it for you because for the people who do want to watch it, do want to play it, it was a fun surprise. But yeah, this person shows up, and one way or another, there's an ending associated with what she brings to the table.
Man,
literally. So yeah. I was very happy to watch this. Like, I don't think I would play it. I think I enjoy watching this genre more than anything. But if this is something that sparks your interest, especially if you've liked a game like Papers, Please, or Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator, and I know there's at least one other one, because it's
got a lot of coffee talk vibes.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah. Both with the dialogue and the animations and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a big thumbs up from me for sure. Vilos, I know you played those two games that you already talked about. And when I saw that this game wasn't on your list, I was like, well, I'm definitely talking about this because I had such a good time. Oh well, I guess spoiler. You just watched the end of the thing. I talked long enough, and there's your splash screen. But I really enjoyed that. Yeah, Intergalactic Pawn Shop release on 2023. Great. Let's see the Steam page. I had this written down somewhere. The planned release, it specifically says, is December 20th of this year. So, that's pretty near the end of the year. It says planned release, so who knows? They could spend more time with it in the oven.
That phrase, planned release, as opposed to it being like an official dead stop street date. Like, this is when we want it to come out. But,
it's like a literal, listen, don't get on our ass about this, all right?
Yeah. Everybody be
it's
cool.
going to come out
we might
next
have to post
week.
like a wall of text, like a corporate wall of text, but
Oh,
Yeah.
actually,
change.
you know what? Let me say this real quick. I'm in the Spiderheck Discord. Spiderheck's a real fun indie. I don't know. It's like Duck Game or like Smash Bros or something. It's just like a really chaotic game where you and your friends jump around and either cooperate or fight each other. In their Discord, the developer was like, "Hey, I'm actually going to step away from upkeeping this game. I'd rather stick to very super small projects in my Discord." So here's some more information on that. But the way that it started was, hey everybody, just letting you know, the reason I'm posting this incredibly dramatic looking JPEG is, and so immediately I was like, okay, just on principle, I have to read this because I love anybody who approaches the wall of text JPEG with a good sense of humor. But yeah, Spiderheck's a cool game. You should go play it. It's on Game Pass. Great. So that's all of our games. Yeah, I think that's it's like 5 games. 5 games. Plus Sid played Another Crab's Treasure, so that's 6. That game was super cool. Great. Everybody else, let us know what you've played. I know I loaded up Elden Ring this past week. We played some Deep Rock Galactic. We're always talking about Zomboid. I got a friend to buy Played Up.
Ooh.
Yeah, that game's Played Up's a lot of fun, and it's totally like a holiday game. Like it's totally a this time of the year type of game.
Speaking of games to play this time of year, Splatoon 3 has announced their upcoming Splatfest for Halloween. Which they call Splatoween. Of course they do.
Of course they
do. It is, which would be the best friend? A zombie, a ghost, or a skeleton?
What's your team? Wait, a zombie, a ghost, or a skeleton?
Considering I'm practically a skeleton, I would say I'm a really good friend. So I got the skin and bones, and the Mystic Bones. I gotta do the Mystic Bones. So I'm on Team Skeleton. That'll be happening during next weekend. During the weekend before Halloween, during which also KC Game On, who I am brandishing the jersey of today, will be having their LAN party during the next week. There's going to be bring your computer. There's going to be costumes. There's going to be karaoke. There's going to be food. There's going to be drinks. It's going to be it's a good time. You can check out the website kcgameon.com/events/kcgameon94 to find out more information. I will have the link in chat for anyone who is interested in checking that out. But there will also be tournaments. So there's going to be like, Rocket League, Apex, and things like that. Be sure to check the event page often because it's still changing.
But that's a whole ass weekend, right?
It will be It'll be Friday and Saturday, but not Sunday. So if you have any plans for the Halloween weekend, honestly, yes, because I'm trying to get my party on too. And even though I will be making my appearance at the LAN party, I'm still trying to Halloween. So come Halloween with me at the LAN party. Hopefully my costume gets here on time. I hope. Fingers crossed. I still haven't gotten the shipment thing. But back to that. Yeah, Splatoon 3. They're doing the Halloween thing. So if you're looking for Halloweeny good time for spooky items and stuff, please play that.
Heck yeah.
Vilos.
Rad.
Did you like Film Star so much?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. The only other thing I can think of is I know Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Is it just called Spider-Man 2?
I think it is.
I think it is. It comes out maybe tonight. Maybe some people in our community are playing it right now. So I'll be excited to hear about that. I'm really excited. I don't think that's going to be going on in our house right now. Like we've got a whole backlog. Lizzie hasn't even bought Tears of the Kingdom yet. So I'm not sure we're ready for, we got so much on our plate. What we really need is Baldur's Gate 3 crossplay to come out, because she, the friend of ours who went on the trip, and I are all we're chomping at the bit to be able to play together in a campaign. And we just want it so badly. So there's that. She's playing Starfield. Haven't even touched Tears of the Kingdom. And she loved the first Marvel Spider-Man game, and I enjoyed watching her play, but it's just too much. Each of these games is huge. Like every single game I just named is well over 100 hours. Well, actually, I don't know if Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be over 100 hours. Maybe it's
It
that
might
one's
be if you
not.
decide to do all of the side quests and all of the like little story arcs and all the
she did platinum the first game, so maybe it will be.
They did confirm that as far as story goes, it'll be 30 hours.
30.
So
that's a good
they said
story
that
length.
right out the front like 2 weeks ago. They were like, "Listen, guys,
30 hours is like the perfect length."
That's pretty great for an open world. Yeah,
it is.
So, yeah.
But anyway, let's wrap this up. We're gonna load up From Space, the new Game Pass title, here after this. So, you'll be able to find that video.
Oh, Game Pass
later. That's right. Oh, don't worry. Odysseus is already in chat, hitting that button.
I definitely bought the $5 Steam version.
Rip.
But I can go ahead and download the I'll just refund that and download the Game Pass version.
Good news, it's quote unquote free since you already own Game Pass.
Yeah.
We're all here for surprises. Well, hell yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Once again, I am Tegan. I'm joined by Vilos and Sovereign Sid. And, yep.
Okay.
And hi. And we'll be back again for the show next week. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Later.